So 2024 is going to be the mother of all election years. There are 62 countries plus countries in the European Union who are going in for elections. Elections have a huge impact on the economy of those countries. What we have done is we have looked at how did the economy behave in the election year in all the previous elections which happened in some of the bigger countries. Let me share what we found, which was quite surprising. Remember, elections are going to be happening this year in some of the bigger countries: US, UK, India, a lot of our neighbors, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan. So it seems about close to 49% of the people globally are going to go and vote for a new government this year. Half of the population of the world is going to impact, the results are going to impact half of the population of the world and its economy. Let's jump in and see what are usually the impacts of an election year on the country's economy in the past. The most obvious impact of an election year is the increase in government debt. Why does this happen? Because all governments in power try to do in that year is to focus on short term benefits for the voters so that they are all very happy with the current government and start voting for them. Usually long term economics are put in the back burner, and short term influences for voters like some freebies, something which is good for them, a lot of actions which could probably be unsustainable economically in the long run are taken up that year. The other big thing we see is also in the budget that comes out for that year. The budgets are usually very, very touchy about working on anything related to taxes. You cannot add or increase taxes on any category for obvious reasons because your government will become unpopular. So, what happens? You either do nothing, but most governments actually have gone ahead and reduced tax in some categories to get goodwill of the voters. This also has a negative impact on the economy. And how do they fill the shortfall? Normally, they would end up in trying to tax some of the wealthy a little more. And that again is not a good thing because it's not a very sustainable stuff. A double whammy where you are generous in doing things which are not sustainable for a long time, and also that you go ahead and reduce your revenues. Important decisions get postponed in this year. Who? The government obviously postpones those decisions which don't have an immediate benefit or might be a little tough on the voter. So they postpone it for a later period. They don't want to take a risk. But also, businessmen and industrialists are a little more careful. They don't know what would be the direction which the new government will take. So they don't want to go ahead and invest in anything new which might get changed in the new government which comes. So they hold on to many investment decisions, and it impacts economy, of course, and employment because everything is getting postponed to a later day. There's also a slower credit growth. What happens typically is the wealthy and the businessmen and the industrialists are all trying to take out money from the bank for many reasons. One is obviously they don't know what is going to happen in the new regime, so they move their money into investments which are far more safer. And second is political parties, and of course, these people who fund them are all wanting cash at that moment because they need to fight the election. And the cash which is either accounted or unaccounted is all coming out into the market. And so what is available as credit and deposits actually shrink in this year. The other byproduct of this action is an increased inflation because the money is flowing out now. This coming out in cash and getting used in the election. So while some industries are slowing and stopping, there are some others which are flourishing. Those industries which are directly related to electioneering and campaigning and stuff like that. So there will be a lot of drama on the streets where you need money to organize, crowds and all those road shows which you do, freebies, whatever you give as attractions to voters to to make them align them into your side. Both all the parties involved in election. So there is a lot of other businesses activities which will start looking up and doing very well, and lot of cash. So there is a lot of money chasing fewer products, and the prices will go up, and inflation will go up significantly in 2024. So overall, it has been found that every election year there has been a slowdown in the economic growth. So expect a little slowdown in the global economic growth, much beyond what was forecasted earlier by the IMF. So you might have muted growth compared to the forecast, at least in this half of the global population where elections are happening this year. It's a very interesting election to watch all over the world, with US very decisive election, India, the current government looking for a third term, Sri Lanka, which is really struggling economically and trying to revive, Pakistan with the future past prime minister in jail, and they're trying to regain some sensibility there. Then you have our countries in Africa which going for election, South Korea which is going for election, whole lot of, interestingly, there is Russia and Iran also which is going for elections, and that, so it's a very important year all over the world with a lot of focus going to try and win these elections, and exciting year. Let's watch, but might be a little dampener for the economy and employment. Till next time, stay unstoppable.